The market doesn't know what keeps you up at night. It doesn't know when you want to retire, and it doesn't know how old you are. The simple truth is, the market doesn't care. But if you care, you've tuned into the right place. You're listening to Investor Resources, bringing clarity to the confusing world of finance. Here are your hosts of Investor Resources, Don Creech and Perry Sykes.
I'm Don Creech.
And I'm Perry Sykes, and welcome to the Investor Resources Podcast.
So when we start talking about artificial intelligence, just kind of tip back and close your eyes and think of some ad that you see on TV about a guy who's just guzzling beer and enjoying every moment of it.
I can show you that if you want. You could.
It's kind of what AI is doing. It's looking around the internet and it's saying, I can suck that up. Yeah, I can suck that one up too. I'll take another one of those. What we had no idea just a short year ago is how much consumption of data AI requires, and how are we going to deliver it so the AI systems can learn to do what they're supposed to do accurately. Google made a big mistake and have their Gemini program, and they've paid for it. Yeah. It's been a real embarrassment because of not cleaning up their AI learning system, and it's made huge errors. So they're still going to be a dominant player, but they're going to take a while to recover the trust.
Well, that's how you can tell we're right at the leading edge of what's going on in AI, and the data being described as a data shortage. The entire internet is turning out to be a little too small for what AI needs to continue to grow and to continue to expand its ability to accurately reflect the real world, and then extrapolate that as to where we're heading, what we're going to get. And it's being described as a frontier research problem, and that we're running out of that high quality data. We're already running out of it, and they're predicting within a few years we will have burned through everything online that is accessible and usable to train AI with, the artificial intelligence software programs, because there's a lot of stuff online that you don't want to get into your AI process. You don't want people in there explaining exactly how to turn lead into gold. You don't want people on there with detailed explanations explaining exactly why the earth is flat, but that's all online. That's all out there, and AI will just soak that up, and it's not very good right now at discerning, well, this is clearly not true. It doesn't know. If you tell it, here, use this is a fact, that's a fact in AI. And so you have to be very careful about what gets in. And they're starting to run out of databases that they can use to pull in. And companies are starting to protect their stuff. They're starting to say, no, you can't use my stuff to train your AI unless you're going to pay me for it. And nobody's sure how to do that. Nobody's sure how to compensate a company for that. If you're gonna pay the New York Times for letting an AI software scan your entire database, current and historical, what do you charge for that? Nobody knows. That's a little unprecedented territory there. Nobody knows even how to approach that. And but that's what we're coming up to right now. And the total amount of data available is going to be a little short of what they see the natural arc of data in AI being. So that's a mind-bending problem in and of itself, that there's not enough high-quality data to even feed it enough information to get it to do the things we want it to do. And that's just getting to, we're on GTP4 and OpenAI. We've all probably fooled around with that. GTP5, we need more data, and there may already be a data shortage to fill that up. That's remarkable.
There's a new program out, which I've not played with at all, but you brought it to my attention, called Mid-Journey. And it's apparently a very simple program that even some kids use. The guy that wrote the article, Michael Batnick, said that he's got his kids playing with it, and they're doing text to graphics. So they created a picture of Godzilla playing basketball with King Kong, and
There you
that
go.
was there was a short text, and the graphic that's attached to this is really quite phenomenal. But
It's remarkable.
it's not so much that there's fun that can be generated with this, but also that science itself can make substantial advances. And before we started recording, you were talking about some of the biotech advances that have been made recently after decades of no significant innovation.
Correct. They have had a problem in the field of antibiotics. There hasn't been a brand new antibiotic in decades. Everything is just reformulations of things we already had. And part of the problem was um, mapping all of the proteins that we have out there to see them, to see what we have, to see what's there, and then make use of that. And now there's 99% coverage. There's 99% of the proteins that are out there have all been mapped, and they know exactly what they look like now, and they can decide, what are you trying to do to it? Now that they can see it, now they can work on it. Are we trying to enhance this? If it's something you want more of, are we trying to destroy it? Is it something you want to get rid of? Now they can do that, and AI is helping them make those strides. And just right off the bat, they were wondering, how do we fight MRSA, which has been something that they cannot get a handle on. Right away, AI came up with a couple of applications for things that exist now in combination that they had never tried before, and said, hey, try this, see if this works out. They're already in tests with, in mice, and already, as they say, it's very favorable results. It's coming back and saying, yeah, we're looking really good here, where they were completely stymied previously. Those are really big advancements, and they're coming really, really quickly. It's just remarkable.
Well, that's the MRSA. Okay, so that generates 7,000 deaths a year from MRSA, and you got to do something with that. 70,000 infections, and 10% of them die. So that's significant advancement there. But that opens the door for biotech companies to substantially reduce their research costs and
Correct.
shorten the time, which is going to bring down the cost by the time it gets through testing and to retail. It will change that whole process substantially. We do not know the extent to which AI is actually going to open up new doors.
Correct.
Our world is going to be one of continually walking into walls trying to get things done, and AI is going to build a door for us as we approach the wall. That's just basically the way you need to visualize this.
And the truly amazing part is just the dramatic speed at which it's happening. And it's important to take note, as in this case with a new antibiotic being tested right away. After decades of nothing, it's happening really fast. And AI is very good at that. So if you can get this kind of data in, AI will analyze it and manipulate it in a way that would have taken decades previously. And now it happens literally in minutes and hours. And it's taken us places that no one could have imagined, at a speed that no one even could have guessed at, even a few years ago. And these scientific advances are only a small window into what's going on, and the breadth of where it's going to be working is startling.
Well, one of the areas that this has changed is in automobiles. When an automobile was found to have a flaw,
Right.
you would get the law requires the company to mail out, snail mail, a notice that your car is under recall, and you would have to take it into your dealer, get an appointment, get scheduled, and you take it into your dealer. Maybe it's an hour, maybe you've got to leave it overnight.
Right.
But actually, the way cars are being built today with the technology, and AI solves the problem with the newer cars because they download the correction. Yet
Correct.
the government still says the car dealers have to mail out a notice of recall, which you may get weeks after the problem has already been fixed.
Correct.
Particularly up to date with the electric vehicles. Other automobiles they don't all have the internet access built into them, but newer cars do. And I drive an older GM car, and I had OnStar service in it. And last year I was notified that the technology has been updated so much that they're no longer going to support my OnStar service.
There you go.
So I have to rely on my cell phone and calling AAA.
There you go.
Instead of
It's been
punching
made
the overhead
obsolete.
button.
Right.
Yeah, things have changed.
Correct.
But
Correct.
wealth is still created in the stock market, but it's still a pretty fast place to lose money. You have to have a defense built into your portfolio. And that's particularly true. We've just chatted briefly here about the benefits of biotechnology. That's an area where when you're in the right stock and the right moment of time when they get an approval, the stock price appreciates very rapidly, but it may reverse and unwind everything in 6 weeks to 6 months. It's an area that you just can't go willy-nilly and say AI is going to improve biotech, so let's just buy biotech. Even the biotech exchange traded funds right now are not particularly attractive places to have money. So be careful. And that's part of why we focus on momentum. Is there leadership in the market? Is this a sector that is attracting money? If you own sectors that are attracting money in the current environment, that should be healthy for your portfolio. If you're owning sectors that are dragging an anchor, why? That's our question. Why? Why do you continue to hang on to things that are not doing well? As we've mentioned before, from June of 2011, gold was an anchor in your portfolio. And it's taken more than a decade to haul that anchor up off the ocean floor and put it back in your boat and see that you're actually making some progress. Why would you wait a decade to correct something that is hurting your returns?
And we said that in 2011. And in 2011, compared to today, things moved pretty slow. Even though at the time we thought it was already very fast, it was nothing compared to what's happening today and the way markets change and the speed with which they change. And like you said, Don, you had this hookup in your vehicle that was very useful to you, and it quickly became completely obsolete because the technology moved so far it couldn't even be updated anymore. And that's you have got to watch out for that's the other side of technological advances. Other things get left behind, and which is why you cannot go to sleep on this. You have to be paying attention, because what was a cutting edge and a leading technology can become completely outdated and useless, and you need to be nimble enough to make those changes as they occur, because they're happening faster and faster. And unfortunately, nothing is going to slow down. This is going to keep accelerating, and so the entire lay of the land that we're looking at when we're looking at the stock market is going to continue to change, and trying to navigate that by looking at what's happened before is going to become less and less effective. You need to be looking ahead. You need to be watching where's the money going. Like you said, Don, follow that money. What's attracting the cash? That's where you need to be, and you can't be resting on what has happened in the past. It's just not going to do you any good anymore. Less and less as we move forward.
Our most recent webinar, we discussed this issue, and in detail, we walked through the decision-making process that we use for the 5 portfolios we run for 401k plans. If you want to do this yourself or are doing this yourself, that's a worthwhile video to pay attention to. The shortcut to get to that video is our website, iriradio.com. You can watch the video. We explain how we make decisions and what our universe is for those 401k plans. We have other portfolios that have different universe of exchange traded funds that we use to build the portfolio. And we briefly explain why those are different, but they have different objectives. 401k has different criteria. They have a broad range of employees with different needs and different ages. And so we run 5 portfolios there. But you need to have a process to identify leadership to begin with, to monitor it, and to have your own rules for when to exit so that you don't get stuck with the gold in the toilet problem of 2011 to this last year, not making anything with that segment of your portfolio. Most clients, most people are actually using modern portfolio theory that says none of this matters. We can hang on to stuff that doesn't work for 20 years because eventually it will. Right. Most of us in reality don't have 80 years for things to work out well. If you want help just trying to figure out where you are and what your options are, you give us a call. Phone numbers on this last screen. Register for our next webinar. Subscribe to our podcast. Call us or email us. We'll be glad to chat with you and do an analysis on what you have and whether it's weighted towards leadership or laggards. You should know the difference. Thanks for watching. Subscribe below. Have a great day.